Yeah, I didn't see it, but oh wow.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if y'all can hear me yet. Let me make sure my Zoom is live. We should be getting started here just shortly. Thank you for joining. If you got any questions, feel free to submit in the chat, QA, that kind of thing. So, um, I think Jared's gonna be hosting, but I'm just kind of getting the party started. So, feel free to send us the questions. I think Jared, like I said, will be the one hosting it. So, um, we'll see here. So I see some stuff coming in. Thank you guys. All right. Now we got quite a few questions, quite a few things coming on in. Um, yeah, give it just a few moments here. We'll kind of get started in just a few. Cool. Just another moment or so. All right, everybody, we're going to start rolling. Jared's coming over in just a moment, but we're going to kind of just start um, talking about some of this stuff. Appreciate the questions. Thank you guys for everything. I'm going to give you a high level overview just of some stuff that I think is new, um, really quick, just because I just learned about it. And I'm going to be having a video about it today, but I'm pretty excited about it. So I'll show you some stuff. I did get the data repeater questions as well as the data values. We'll kind of run through those here in just a second. Rather than giving you my same old tired YouTube spiel, Decision Solutions Marketplace spiel, I'm going to kind of dive into Decision Solutions Marketplace with a quick thing that I think is cool about the newest iteration. So for those of you that do not know, um, on our website, we have 9.3 live now. So 9.3 is live. Here we go. Look at that. 9.3. I'm making a video today about kind of the new features. There's a handful of them. Compare options and rules, compare options and truth tables, like you can compare flows. But the one thing I do want to kind of just share that I think is exciting and interesting and cool and all that stuff is in previous iterations, 9.2 and below. Hold on, crazy people behind me. Yeah, in previous iterations, we had a uh, module for OpenAI. So you could easily connect to OpenAI and run, OpenAI stuff. But the thing I want to show that I think is very cool and interesting is we have this new AI Common module with a number of new um, AI providers. And what this is going to allow you to do is in your flows, you're going to be able to add an AI common step to perform. There's a handful of them. There's like 12 different AI common steps. And then you will be able to go into integrations, integrations. You'll have a new AI category. And on the fly, you can change your provider, what feature, and the models. So chat completion, I can pick from these models on the fly. So when these new, AI providers come out with new models, it'll be as simple as not changing your whole flow, but coming into this drop down and just selecting the new pre-populated one. So as I go through these, Anthropic, again, chat completion. So if I use a chat completion step from the common AI toolbox, I'll be given the option for these as a default. Or, if I wanted to, I could just come over here and change this and go, actually, for my chat completion steps, I actually now want to run Google Gemini in which version. So it gives you comparatives. You can also do it in the flow and designate. You can override that system default, so you can run comparisons, run data in, compare outs. But it would be, something a fun use case of that. And then we'll get started here in just a moment. AI Commons project. Nope, wrong one. Looking for get text from PDF. A cool thing you could end up running with this at some point is something like this, where you get an invoice and you convert the text to a PDF, and then you have ChatGPT run summaries on that text for invoices or kind of conglomerate that text for you. Okay, so that was my quick little startup. I didn't give you the full YouTube Decision Solutions Marketplace spiel. Gave you 5 minutes of something new. Cool. Let's start on these questions. Thank you guys again so much for these questions. So we'll start at the very, very top.
What?
FSU would like to see Microsoft Copilot added to the AI providers. Hey, let me write that down because we talk with these people quite a bit. Yeah, I'll write it down for you, man, and I'll chat with our guy Derek and see if he can fill that in. Yeah, I agree. It is cool. Microsoft Copilot. And I'll ask him about it. And I have a video today coming out where I'm talking about like a lot more functional features of that, but I just wanted to kind of get a practice run of my video done before I go in there and try and rack it out. So let's start at the very top, man. We got James with a question about default values in a data repeater. Feel free. I'll unmute you. I got two of you in here, so I'll just unmute both of you.
I think I might know the answer to this, James, because I ran into it, but continue.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing with this data repeater is on the active form flow, I'm loading a drop down list,
Yes.
and I'm trying to input data into that. There's already data on a lot of them. So the drop down list I do want there in case they want to change it, but I want that first value to be whatever came in on the data source.
Mm-hmm.
And default to that. And then, of course, the drop down list can still be valid. I mean, if they want to repick something, but I need it to default to that original value.
Yep. And is the original value okay? So this is a bug I found. I actually reported it because I ran into the same issue where I couldn't set an initial value on a drop down list.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just share my screen because I want to demonstrate it. Just so let's see, allow. So you can kind of see, and you can see if this was kind of what you ran into too. So let me go into I'm actually working on purchase request project. It's enhanced, so it's not the same thing. So don't worry, it's not gonna be basic. But I ran into the similar issue. I have this data repeater in here for the purchase request because I want people to be able to submit different types of purchase requests.
Mm-hmm.
And so just so you see kind of how this thing works, right? Depending on if I add a request, I wanted it to be on general, right? Because if it's software, right, then I get different options here. But I wanted to have it to be general. So what I did is similar to what you did. We're in here, edit the source. I said, hey, I want the initial, where is it? Data names, where's the initial value? I thought I had that initial value set up. Is not here. Oh, wait.
You mean the
Not this
data
one.
set itself? Or
This one,
I
static
see.
default.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted the static default item to be general because that's what I wanted it to be. And now I did upgrade to 9.3, so maybe this got fixed in 9.3 and 9.2, and I do add, it doesn't have my initial type loaded.
And if you're coming from a data source, because what I'm doing is loading a flow structure that's coming in and using that flow structure, as my data source. And as I load that, it might have a value. I don't know what that value will be. It's just whatever value comes in off the data source that it's pulling it from. But I want that, if there is a value there, I want that value to be the default value.
Yeah, you mean like the first one?
Right.
Yeah, so so the static default item doesn't work, but if you want this one to be initialized with the first item,
Uh-huh.
I believe what you can say is you can change the selected item of it with the active form flow. I go into here. I'll populate the software lists. And I think over here, what you can say, and this is just a constant list that I have, but you can have it. I think I could select like the first one out of that list, whatever the first one is. So I'm just doing this because this is my use case. You probably don't need to have another create data step for this. But the concept here is, let's say this is first value.
So you've already populated with your drop down values, right?
Exactly. Well,
And then
this is my
okay,
drop down list, right? So whatever I
right.
get out of this, then I'm going to say, okay, select from the not the all items list. What's the list? Oh, that's right. I'm not outputting this thing because I'm just I'm just changing the combo box. I'm doing it this way. So let's say I want to grab the first one. I'm just gonna copy this a certain way. And I'm gonna set this to rename just so I can do this kind of illustration. So what I would do here is I can set the create data and I can grab, I think I set this to rename. Yep, softwares. That's, I don't know if that's good English. So I have softwares. I'm gonna grab the first thing over here, and then you have a couple of options. You can click over here and you can say edit the output mapping,
Mhm.
and then you can grab the form data. I think in the combo box, software combo box, there's a selected item, and then I can say,
Okay.
boom, I want to change that selected item of that. And
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
believe that will do that.
Okay, so I load I load the combo box, and then I have another create data that basically loads in the value that's coming in
Mhm. So
as the
yeah,
first item. So
exactly.
it's
So you could
selected.
probably, well, yeah, whatever whatever the data that gets pulled in. You see, the reason why I had to do this duplicate, you wouldn't have to do this duplication, is I have
Mhm.
the output mapping set to change value.
Right,
So
right.
when I set it to change value, it does not output the list variable to me.
Gotcha. Mhm.
So that's why I duplicated it. I don't think you'd have to do that because you'd be fetching it or API calling whatever it is, and you'll just have that list available. And
Mhm.
then you can just say, I want the first one to be selected, and then I want the whole item source to be the whole list object. So this is just due to my unique circumstance. That's why it's a little weird the way it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you saying that I can do that when I load the drop down? I can also load the first item as well?
You could do it first, you could do whatever item, but you can load the selected item.
Okay, yeah.
So let me illustrate that, just not on this one, because I need to use this for teaching in a month, so I don't want to ruin
Yeah,
this one.
so
Let me
yeah, trying to think that
let's
through
see.
because if I load the drop down box, it's gonna overwrite. Um, no, the selected item is the one that gets put in after you select it.
Yeah, it's the
Okay,
selected, so it'd be a little
okay.
different because those are two separate properties. One's the item source, which is the one that gets it through. So let me go to data repeater. Data repeater, and this is my repeater. And then we'll say this is a drop down list, and then I'll say this is type string. And we'll say this is from data, and then we'll say this is let's see. Oh, great. I have to create. Where was the one that I sent you? What was the name of the project I sent you? I think it was in Project Alpha, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't that one. Let me check here.
I think it was like another. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, cool. So maybe I have a flow that actually runs this, and then I'll just run that one. Test delete string, get headers. That's not that it. Okay, we're just gonna create a new flow. But I do have a form that does that test. dr form initial load. And then what we'll do is we'll grab that show form step. Form, I think it's this one. It is this one. Okay, cool. So this is the actual form. Perfect. So if I want to load that, yeah, we know that that one doesn't work. But let's say I want to grab, okay, cool. Active form flows. I want to say populate this on run. I could say run at startup, combo box. I I think it just has to run on startup.
Right, I think, yeah, that's all I did is running on startup to populate the
Perfect.
dropdown.
And then, what was the thing? Oh, yeah. So then let's say I fetch a list. I'm going to do a fetch entities and just fetch entities, the accounts
Yeah, that's what I
table,
did, yep. And I,
results. And
okay,
then now what I can do is, right, so here's the thing, because if you did count over here, and then we go to, I don't need any of that stuff. Cool. So then over here, what you can do is there's this step inside of here called set control value.
okay,
All right, and then this
yeah,
set control value, I can select the form control, which in this case is the item source. And I think I get 2. Perfect, look at that. So I only get the selected item. Yeah, I want the other one. If I get the form control typed in text. Oh, I'm missing a property. I did something weird. Hold on. I think I might know what I did wrong on it. That's why it's a static list. Data name, list of strings. That's what I thought. I was like, I didn't get all the things I needed. So now if I go here and I edit this, now if I set control value, now I have the item source and the selected item. So I can easily say, hey, I want the entity all email to be added here. And then for the selected item, I'm going to do the entity results. I'm going to grab the, what is it, all email? Where's that? All email. All email first. Boom. And so now I have that populating that. So now let's see if this thing runs. Or the selected item. Broken dependency, that's fine. Then so let's see if that works. I'm gonna add one. Boom. First account system.
mhm, okay,
That'd probably be the same thing for all of them because they're all
right, yeah,
system. So that would
yeah.
be how you do it. So I'd recommend just utilizing this set control value so that you can populate the actual item source property and also the selected item. And so you can pick, and as you can see here, this is the first one here, and this is the first one here.
All right, I think I can do that, play around with that.
Sweet. I could send this to you too. It's going to be
Sure, I
called,
mean, yeah.
you probably have it. You're going to have a lot of these, another alpha ones. It's going
No,
to be called.
the one you sent me before is just called populating dropdown, so.
Oh,
Yeah, if
really?
you want
Okay,
to send me
cool.
that alpha one, that's fine too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's got a little, I think it's got all your other stuff too, so. But yeah, sure, let me just tag it so you know. Let's see, what is it? Where's that tag? Spanish tags, and I'll say this is James Cox. If I can actually spell your name, it's not that hard. Cox. This is data stuff. There we go. And then I'll edit, enter, yes. Boom. There you go. So now you know that's the flow. It's tagged.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. What other
Yeah,
questions do we have?
that's gonna help.
We had another on just before we got in here from Elon. It says, can you demonstrate how to configure a flow as a webhook that receives post requests from another application? And I'll copy that into the chat again for you.
Webhook. As a webhook.
I just send it to you so you can reread it in case it makes more sense through that.
Sure, yeah.
And Sandeep has their hand raised as well. I see it for you, Sandeep. We'll get to you next. Thank you for raising it, but we'll definitely answer your question as well.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so webhook. Was it Elon? I think if can I set you off as unmute? How to configure flow as a webhook that receives post requests from another application. I'm not sure. What is the where's I've lost the chat. Hold on a second. I'm trying to. I want to know. Let's see, Elon. I'm gonna allow you to talk. Could you talk more about the use case? Because I want to say I don't think you could set up decisions as a webhook. Actually, no, that's not true.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was reading, yeah, you guys had some documentation previously on it that I ran across on creating webhooks, but
Yes.
okay, cool. And I just don't know where that documentation went. I don't know if the page got removed or something. But basically, what I want to do is build a flow that acts as a listener for event triggers from DocuSign. So I'm kind of wanting to know more of like how to configure that flow to get those post requests and how that flow will receive and manipulate the JSON body of those requests.
Sure. So what we can do is there's a couple of things you can do here. I think now that I understand. Yeah, I got confused. I thought you meant SOAP, and I know SOAP we don't do anymore um, on flows like we used to in version 6. But yes, let me just create. We'll go to Project Charlie. Let's do it here because I don't have a lot of stuff, and I won't get confused. What is this? Running main flow tab. Sure. So we can configure a webhook. So basically how integrations work in decisions is the body of your JSON or whatever you pass in will always be the inputs of your flow. So let's just create some inputs so you can see this. And we'll say this is um, um, body input 1 and then body input 2, right? And we'll make it the strings. And then what we'll do is we'll say on the output, we'll say output 1, output 2, if I can spell this. And so now, whatever I configure this, let's go to the configuration. I'm going to set this up as a webhook. You can then override the HTTP, or you can configure the HTTP methods that you want to be used to be allowed for the webhook. And then you can go ahead and view the webhook details. And what it will allow you to do is it will show you what's the authentication credentials for the login setup, whether it's a guest or a login or any of that types of information. And then it shows you the get or the post call, however way you configure it. So if I take in the this action as a webhook for my server, this is what it's going to call, and it will run that flow that's going to take in 2 inputs, right? There's the inputs and just the name value pair of the JSON body, and then it will then output that in the output variable there. And typically, I think you might consume this this might be in a serialized format when you get it to your external system. That's just me speculating, but you will get these 2 values. So that's kind of what it is. You can also set up, if you don't want it in JSON and you want it in XML, we can change it to XML and then you can get it outputted there as well. So we kind of accommodate both for that. And it's just configuring that the external system has a name session to call that has authorization to run the post or the get call, what you choose.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I understood that. So if
Yeah.
it's getting those calls or requests, based on how we configured the input data, it's going to come in as that whenever an event is triggered.
Exactly. So if an event is triggered and this post call gets called, it's going to have these will be the inputs that it expects to run. And then it will output those 2 things. If I ever want to change what the input and output data is, I merely just remove or change. Let's do body input 3. And then I view it again, I'll now have a third body input 3 string value.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'll spend some time testing this out.
Sure. And I can show you some documentation on it too. So I think we do have integration. Let's see, this is some settings for it. That's not, I think I'll send you the REST stuff. It's in our world, it's very similar. Creating integration, REST service integration overview. That's into an external system, which is not what we want. Flows. I actually thought we had this. Jasmine, could you look to see if you can find the documents? I know we have this. Maybe it's in version 8 where we have like how to like configuring flows flows as, there we go, calling a flow as a REST service. Boom. Okay, so it might be in version 8. I'll send this version 8 to you, Elon. It's the same as in version 9. We haven't changed. It's just some of the menus may look different. Let me see if I can find that title here. Okay, cool. We have it. Okay, so I'll send you the version 9 one, just in case.
Okay, I
And
appreciate
that,
it. Thank you.
yeah, and that will show you. Yeah, perfect. This is exactly what I thought. I knew we had this. And then you could even test it with inside of the environment as well if you want to see if it works. In our world, configuring the REST service will be the same as the webhook. So you can still use it in that manner. So that's why, even though I didn't share with you like the webhook stuff, it's the setup is the same.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and let me talk about that too. There's also a post to flow behavior that is a really good help. So let's go into advanced and post to flow behavior, because I actually was going to talk about that and I forgot. Is basically if you want to send in like some unstructured data into the system, like, and you have call data or post data, you can change the flow behavior to a flow to be post to flow handle data, and then you can send in the call data, the payload string. If you have like unstructured data coming in from a call, you can even utilize this post to flow behavior, and then you can set it up, view. Let's see, flow is configured. Yep, that's not what I want. And so then this can be called, and you can utilize this type of flow behavior for your processes. So just to kind of recap on this one, where did I find this? You have to create a flow, go to advanced, and then it will be called post flow. Post to flow behavior. So if you have arbitrary data via post or get calls, its data does not need to conform to like specific data contracts and like the integration details page. You can just send in whatever, and then you can kind of structure it when you get it there. So, alrighty, what was the next question? I think there was someone else who had their hand up.
It's in the QA, so it might have came in right before. It says, I want to ask about pages and the user actions on that page. For each page in the global bar, I need different user actions. And I did just make a video around this. I can take some of that as well, but I'll put that in the chat for you. But that's the question from Sandeep. We can unmute Sandeep if we want more information. But
Yeah.
I'll put that in the chat for you as well.
Hey, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
So as I mentioned in my question that I need to add some pages in the global bar, and then on click of each page, I want different user actions. So I'm trying to do that today, and what I found is that I can create the folder user action on a specific folder only. But if I'm creating some pages in that particular folder, then I can't differentiate the actions
Like
within
this?
those. Yes.
So
it's
you
like
have
this.
user action flow 1, like 2, you want tied to page 1, and then not, and then on page 2, you won't have these things?
Yes, I want to have different actions on page 2.
Gotcha. So these actions here, these are called folder actions. So there
Yeah.
would be no way to filter out the action based on the page because it's tied to the folder, not the page. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So doing it this way is not possible. Now, what we can do, right? Here's the thing that we could do is you can set up on the page designer itself, is you can say, let's say this is test page fun, is you can set up, I think you could set up an like an action bar, and then what you can do, it's the filter actions, has the default actions, and I think you can, let's see, we'd have to play around with this. 5 filter actions to filter. So you could then decide which actions you want to hide or show here with this action bar. So if you have custom ones, you can probably do it on the page level here. Get rid default action. Yeah, so I have to play around with this to see how it would work, but you would have to do something. If not this, you would just have to have your flow actions here. So if I have my current folder, let's go to core actions, and I want to have a change password action, I could run a flow as a button or run an action as a button. And then I can say, hey, cool, I'm going to change the password. And I can change the text to be, change password. So long story short, you would have to do your actions on the page level and not on the folder level.
Okay. All right. So on every page, I have to make this custom action bar kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah. Now what you could do is you can use the configuration folder if you have a specific data type you're reporting on, and then you can give right-clickable actions to that data, and then depending on the page or different on the different pages you have, you can filter out the different actions based on an action visibility rule or action visibility rule or a what's the other one that we call it?
There's it's at page level. You can do it at the page level and on the report itself
That's
too.
what it is. Yes, or the report level. That would be the only way to do it.
And in that video I just posted, there's like a whole section, there's a chapter in there about doing it on pages and reports. Essentially, you can, in a report, you can filter out actions, but on the page level, you'll have more options. So when you on the page, can you go back to your page for me, Jared? Just add a report, just a grab random report viewer. And then under it's under view. Oh, there it is. Yep, filter action. So you can say, hey, for this particular report, I only want these particular actions to be enabled. You can also do it when you go into the report and enable certain actions, but that's an option for you if you wanted to parse through the individual reports as well.
Okay, I'll play around it.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions?
James has his hand raised.
Oh, James,
I
go right
do.
ahead. Yeah.
I must have hit a button by mistake if I did.
Okay, apologies.
I'm sorry.
It's the other James, I guess. There's two people here under the name
Gotcha.
James.
Okay.
Yep, other James. There you go.
Talking about me?
Yeah, your name on our
Oh,
end
it's
says
Marvin.
James.
I
Yeah.
see.
Oh.
Both of y'all say James.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too funny.
That
Sorry
was.
about that. Should say Marvin?
I'll see if I can rename you right now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I can. Yep, I'll
That's
rename you.
funny.
It must be the link I got from James earlier. I
Yeah,
copied his link.
Gotcha. I get
Anyway,
it reminds me of the Spider-Man meme where it's like, you're the imposter, the imposter.
yeah, I'm definitely the imposter today. I know on simple forms you can have like it's like an alternate text on text boxes. I'd
Wait,
like
simple
to do
forms?
something similar on a regular form.
Simple forms. Oh no, don't tell me, don't say that. I just don't like simple forms. That's just me.
I don't like them either. I just want to use the same concept.
All right, let me see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
This is a good question.
just create one. Yeah.
I gotta
I agree.
I gotta be dramatic about this. All right, so the text box, text field.
Put a text box, give it a label, and somewhere on there, I did it this morning. I don't remember where the link is. Where when you hover over it, it shows the label. When you try to, there's an option on there. Scroll. Let's see, triggers. Of course, I don't have it with me right now.
I talk about when I preview it and then you go inside of it, it goes up.
Right. Yeah. I'd
Like,
like
wha-
to do something similar or just use like some people do with the gray background text and it disappears when you start typing.
okay,
How can I do that on a regular form?
gotcha. So, animation that happens, that's a JavaScript, I think. Oh, I'm actually curious what it is. Can I find it? See if I
Because
can
that
find it.
option is not available on a text box in a regular form.
Sure, I just want to see if I can figure out what the JavaScript for that is. Symbol form. Oh, it's an object label attribute. I don't even see it. It's in a vertical stack. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I don't want to waste your time. I would just get responsive. No, I just want to see what that. Okay, wait. Okay, it's in here somewhere. Before false text, multiple input. I think it's this. Element style, border background padding, UI widget, selectable input. I feel like it's something here where it actually runs that like. I know that was something different. I thought I found it. Simple form, max length, tab index.
I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly like that.
No, I know. Yeah, I know it doesn't. I was just curious what it was because it got me. I was, your question was like, well, let me see if I figure this out. Don't worry, I'll do this on my own time.
I think some people call it alternate text or something like that.
Well,
You talking about watermark?
well, yeah. No, I'm more talking about like, see how when I click into it, it makes it
Yeah,
smaller, moves it up. I was trying to figure out the JavaScript for that, but
yeah.
to what James said earlier, if you want to have a text box that just has text inside of it, there is a watermark
Okay,
section that you can say data, right? And then you'll see
okay.
that over here it has that.
Watermark's what I'm looking for. Okay,
And then
that's
yeah,
the
it's
key.
yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. That's question one.
Sure. What's the next one?
Explaining if there aren't other folks. I don't want to take up everybody's time. All right. If I'm building a vertical stack,
Mhm.
I've got a header control, a grid, and then another header control. What I was
Okay.
well, here's what I originally tried to do. I put
Okay.
3 header controls back to back.
Okay.
And then the middle one, I tried to turn the header off, but it would not disappear.
It
I went
would
to
not.
the settings and said hide header, but the header kept displaying.
So let's create this. I'm not sure
Yeah.
I follow. So let's do the it's vertical stack.
Yep,
Vertical stack header thing.
that works. I know what you're saying.
Exactly. It's just I just create random names. The bad part is when I have to go back to it, I'm like, what does this mean? Yeah.
hear
All
you.
right. So let's switch this. I'm gonna delete this. We're gonna give it a vertical stack
Yep.
right here. And then
Uh-huh.
you're gonna have
And
a
then
header control. So we have a header container.
I
So
just
that's
put 3
one.
in there.
Yep, exactly. So we
And
got
I
3.
made the first and the last one collapsible, but
Uh-huh.
the middle one I wanted to be static. So, and I also wanted to hide the header.
Wait. Hold on.
Yeah,
I just gotta name this. So this is I'm gonna say this is top header.
sure.
And
Sorry,
this is gonna be, you're good.
that works.
Middle header. And then lower header.
Right?
All right, and
Okay.
then where is the? Oh, I was wondering why it was not in the title because I want to see it that way. There we go. That makes more sense. Now I can see it. All right, cool. So you said the middle one disappears.
Well, I want the header from the middle one to disappear. Down at the bottom right-hand corner there, it says is collapsible
Yep.
or not I'm sorry, up to it hide title bar. I told you the wrong one. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
it will not disappear. I don't know if I did something wrong or. In other words, I want the words middle header to disappear.
Oh, I did the wrong one. So we got portal settings, hide title bar. And then we'll say yes. And then if I debug, okay, so let's
Or
create a,
maybe I'm doing,
I wanna create a,
I went that same route too.
I
Maybe
just wanted to
it's
make
the
sure,
viewer
yeah.
that,
Test flow thingy. Show form. Vertical stack thingy. And then we debug. Okay, so it's still showing that. Cause I wonder if that's just the title, not translate title. Chromeless?
and I didn't, that's true, I didn't change anything else. So it could be part of the,
I just don't know. I don't think
Okay.
hide title bar, use portal settings. I don't think it is what we think it is.
okay,
I think that's tied to, if I could find, let me just open up another one into my local. That's, yeah, let me go to my local again.
because I thought I tried to just put a grid layout in the middle and it wouldn't let me. I think it was expecting a header container.
Oh, that's right. I want to look at portal settings. So I'm wondering if this settings. Portal. I'm just curious where the title. It's for page part content. Hide title bar.
And that's probably the title bar at the top of the screen.
Yeah, so I don't think it's related to that. So let's go back to your question. So you want, so
What I really wanted
you
was
just
to
want this
take
title
middle
gone.
header out altogether and just put a static grid in between the two.
Put a static grid in between.
Top
So
header.
if I grab a grid, place it here like this.
But you've got that header there still. I guess you could, well, say it's
So
expecting a title.
okay, so we don't want this then.
All right, just take lower header out for the moment.
Exactly. So you want like a grid layout over here and then have another header container?
Yes.
Got you. Okay, then we can just do it this way. Boom. So just like this. So this is just a
Alright,
grid
well-
in the middle.
Now it's making a liar out of me. Which is fine.
You don't want it?
No, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Because what I was intending to do, because James and I were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I was trying to do this on the fly, and because I was making top header collapsible and
Mhm.
lower header collapsible, and we were trying to evaluate the end result.
Gotcha. How big do you want this grid? What is the
That's
function
fine.
of this?
It was a proof of concept.
Well, yeah, but like that's
Maybe-
fine. Nothing bad. I was just curious, like what's
Yeah,
like
maybe
what?
just put some data fields in there, just some test like text fields or something. Because what we were trying to test is if you collapse those headers,
Uh-huh.
would the data move up and down accordingly in that?
Right.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, I
That's
see.
what
Oh,
we're
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to test.
Yeah. I got you. We could definitely do that.
I mean, it should. Yeah.
We'll do date picker and we'll say DT picker. And then let's do text box multi-line. Text multi-line. I got you, but let's see. And so then, is collapsible.
Yes.
And then is collapsible.
And I think that'll even do right on the page. Yep.
Yeah, that would do right on the page.
That's what we wanted. But for
I
some
gotcha.
reason, it wouldn't let me add the grid in the middle. For some
Yeah.
reason. It might have been just me
Yeah, what you'd have to do is, because it's a little strange, or dealing with containers is a little interesting, so you'd have to move
Yeah.
like the container somewhere else, and so I can select
Yeah,
parent grid, move this grid layout to this place here,
especially
and then
with
I
the
can
vertical.
move around the
Yeah,
stuff that way. So it is a little, it does take a little bit, if I can find this thing. Nope, I grabbed the bottom bar. I just figured out
click
what,
explore. I'm
yeah,
all the time in there.
yeah, but
At
then I
least
have to
to
find
get
some
it
way
to
to,
highlight. Yeah.
yeah, but I only got the date time picker on that one.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to get the entire,
Yeah.
grid, and you can do it if I grab the grid layout, and then
Or cut
there's
and
this little
paste.
thing. It's always the bottom bar, darn it. That's what makes it hard.
I've been
Let me
known to
just
cut
remove
and
that.
paste it that way.
No, I didn't put it above where I wanted it to. Below. Haha, there we go.
Okay, so the answer is yes, it
Yep.
will do that.
Yep, it will. You just have to make sure that this thing is set onto scroll, not fit children, because then it will do that, and then
Yeah.
just kind of makes it bigger, and it
Now,
won't move it up.
which one did you have? Scroll?
I had, yes, I had, you want scroll.
Oh, on the vertical stack.
On what?
Yep.
Oh, on the whole. Okay,
Yep,
vertical stack.
on the vertical stack component. Yeah,
Okay,
you
I
got
see
it.
what you've got highlighted. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I got two more if I don't want to take up everybody's time.
Sure, you got time. We still
All
got
right.
10 minutes.
Horizontal line.
Okay, like
I know
an,
it's been mentioned before, but I just don't remember. If I wanted a horizontal line in there somewhere, let's say that middle section, I wanted to put a horizontal line between those between those two rows in the middle.
mm-hmm. I'm thinking.
I know how to do it in HTML, but I don't know how to do it in.
Yeah, well, HTML, it's just, BR, open, open tag, BR, close tag, boom, HTML.
No, it's HR.
Oh, you're right, it's HR. Yeah, BR is break for new line. Man, see,
Exactly.
look at that, you got me. I get those confused. All right, so what you could do for that is we can go ahead and, let's see, how do we get a horizontal line? Horizontal line.
Yeah, you did the same thing.
Yeah, oh, I'm not even in the toolbox.
But
A
yeah,
horizontal line.
there's nothing. There's nothing. I just looked for horizontal. I didn't look for divider.
Yeah, there's nothing divider. Divider. Nothing there.
Divier.
Yep, it's French. Anyway, so then what can we do? We got the calendar, you got this HTML display. I mean, you could do, what can I do? I don't want to open it. Static HTML. Let's do that. HR. I just want to see what happens. And then this one should be inline embed. And then I want to run this.
Or do the old fashioned way of putting a image in there one
Nope.
pixel high and make it black.
Yeah, I thought it was a static HTML open inline. I just want to say it runs. It should have ran that because that's, maybe I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't know how to do an HR tag.
You're doing it right.
Yeah, I was doing it right. Okay, I thought I was like, I was like, my
No.
HTML's a little rusty, but I knew a little bit of it. Okay, now I just lost. I think I'm here. I think it's this one, yeah. But what you could do, I was trying to figure out like a cleaner way to do this, but I guess, wait, can I say use unsafe? I don't know what that even means. But if I do this,
Questionable.
no. Okay, so it didn't just translate that.
It didn't render. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So then let's delete this. I mean, what you could do is, we do this sometimes, is you can grab another grid, and I'm just gonna call this
Yep.
my line grid, my my line grid.
Yeah. Seems like this may have been what somebody showed me.
And then I'll make this as small as I can.
Yeah.
And then I can say that,
Choose background color.
yeah, you can change the background color. This is a way. I know this is one way to do it. I think there's also another way to do it that's less clunky. I was like, right, that's a little too thick, and that's very hard to
But
get the
yeah,
sizing.
you could fix it.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
think I'm gonna put this in here. And I think on the vertical stack, let's do view. On the vertical stack, view, and I can do, was it an outer margin? Inner margin? Let me just mess with this. There's a whole couple. No, that's just the margins. Where's the gutter? There was behavior.
Oh,
I
gutter
thought,
was on the outside container or something, but
yeah, maybe it's on the container, that's why. I thought there was something here. But, corner radius, border width. For the border width, that's just the entire thing for the vertical stack. So yeah, I thought there was a way. Expand fit. I was just in there. Yeah, I'd say probably say you might have to just use CSS. You can add just. Yeah, that's what you have to do. That's what I thought. If you add a 1 pixel grid with a black background, that's the way to do it. But it would just be kind of hard,
yeah. Okay.
you know. So I think probably CSS would be the way you'd go for it.
Okay. All right. One last question.
Yeah.
When you use a, let me read make sure I tell you right. If you use a radio button list,
Yep.
it puts a box around it, which is fine. But if you use a checkbox list, it does not put a box around it. I'd like to be consistent and put a box around both of them.
Let's see. I think was it rows? Oh, I did too many columns. That's not what I want. I wanted 2 columns. And then I think I just have rows of 30.
That you won't need many because a list can.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a little
Sure.
latest. So you got the radio button list,
Right.
and then let me get the date. String data static list. It could be like thing
ABC.
1, thing 2,
What I
thing
like today.
3, thing 3. Okay, so that has a box. I see what you're saying.
But it now
Uh,
put a
Checkbox list.
checkbox list to the right side of it. I think checkbox is 2 words.
Ah,
Go
you are
figure.
right. Look at that. That's what always gets me. It's like, oh, I have to do it. We'll say this is static as well. We'll say string.
Mhm.
Static list, and we'll say the same thing. 1 thing, 2 thing, 3. Let's see. So both of these controls, I wonder if I can go to the view. Does it just have a border? No border. And I think, does that look better? It still has a
All
border.
right. Well, actually, can you go to checkbox and turn the border on?
Okay.
This,
Is horizontal, no
oh,
border. And you can put border. There you go.
doggone.
All in view.
Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees.
That's okay. But yeah, it looks like you can put it in and we can make it thicker, same color.
Right. All right.
Border
That's
thickness.
in the what section?
A view.
View. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, but okay. I just want to be consistent with what I was doing.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I've got a page that's actually got a mix of those.
Cool,
So
cool. Yep, that's how you do it.
I'm done with all my questions, believe it or not.
Sweet. And I think was the difference between these 2 things is checkbox lists, you can have
Oh,
multiple, you can select multiple.
yeah, I know how they work.
Okay, good. Just making sure, like if.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right, cool, cool.
I was doing HTML before HTML was even cool.
Oh, yeah. There you go. All right. Well, any other questions? We got 3 minutes.
I'm done.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up then. So thank you guys so much for joining the Lunch and Learn. We'll get this recording posted up on YouTube so you can rewatch it. And we'll see you guys, was it tomorrow will be the last Lunch and Learn for this week. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.